I've got something to show you this morning. The Christ that we are serving, the Christ that we all know, there's something about him. Jesus, even in his miracles, all the miracles that he did or performed was for the people. He made sure at that wedding where there was no drinks, the Bible says that Mary told them, do as he say. And what happened? Jesus gave them a new wine. Have you received any new thing from the leaders in Africa? Meanwhile, they claim to be Christians. I beg to differ. Africa is 3 times the area of China, Europe, and the United States. Maybe you don't know. When you put the whole of Africa together, the continent of Africa together, Africa is 3 times bigger than the United States of America. Africa is 3 times bigger than China. And Africa is 3 times bigger than Europe. Move on to the next slide. We took our time to prepare this for you. Now listen to me. Africa is 30.5 million square kilometers with a population of 1.3 billion. Now it is more than 1.3 billion. It is more than 1.3 billion. So let's use 1.3 billion. Africa, the whole size of Africa is 30.5 million square kilometers with a population of 1.3 billion. People, human beings. And from this percentage, from this total number of population here in Africa, 70% of this population are between the ages of 17 and 50. The working force of every country can be found predominantly here in Africa. 70% of the 1.3 billion people in Africa are between the ages of 17 and 50 years. These are the people who can, will, able, capable, can manage and transform the fortunes of Africa. Move on. China that you hear, if Africa is over 30 million square kilometers, China is just 9.6 million square kilometers with a population of 1.4 billion. China. So Europe is just 10.1. If China, now watch this. Go back, please. Thank you. China. Bring China, yes. China is 9.6 million. Africa is 30.5 million square kilometers. And we still do not have places for people to sleep. We have the abundance of land. And we still do not have accommodation for innocent citizens. China is just 9.6 million. And they have more, 1.4 billion people. They still have enough and abundant places for people to sleep. What is wrong with us? Rescue the perishing, care for the dying. This is what I am talking about. Move on to Europe. Let's run. Europe is 10.1 million square kilometers. And they have places. Look, the whole of Ghana, the whole of Nigeria can be moved into Europe. We'll still have places to sleep. Somebody will sit somewhere and say that we have homeless people on the streets of America, homeless people on the streets of Europe, homeless people on the streets of Paris, and all the other. They have chosen not to sleep. If they want to really sleep somewhere, to find a place for them. After all, tents house military officers, so it can house a human being as well. Move on. America. Africa must rise. Africa must begin to think. 9.8 million square kilometers is the size of the United States of America. The so-called almighty America, Africa is 3 times bigger than the United States of America. Move on. Africa is the home of 60% of the world's arable or agriculture-friendly lands. Ebibrem ha yewe asase a nyame bo ye nyina wo wiase nyina Europe, Asia, Australia, and Ghanaian nyina no wo ba ebibrem ye memu ha asase ye didua aduane a eye. That can curb food insecurity. Say 100 emu aduasia eyoha emu mako 60 aduasia Africa na nyame de maye. The 40% God gives to the rest of the world. Nyame nye yenden biom. It is a quadro exams. Na yesu wanya 60 over 40 a. Eti one pass here we eye bi. Eye SSE a. Ka wunya bi eye wase a ka ye bi. No be a wanya B+. You're failing his own university. Why are we still poor? Why are we still hungry? I want to take you somewhere this morning. I just want you to understand the hymns that we go to church to sing. I want you to understand the songs we go to church, sing, dance, jump around, sweat, come home and sleep. Move on. Huh? In 2016, an NGO research in the United States of America revealed that 101 British companies controlled 305 billion worth of platinum in Africa. Platinum in Africa. No? Every year in 2016, companies in Maakye 101 in free United Kingdom about Africa. They came to Africa with less than $2 billion. When they were leaving in 2016, they went with 305 billion US dollars. What is wrong with us as Africans? Something is predominantly wrong with our brain. God gave us equal opportunity. The American was not created different from that of the Cameroonian. The British was not created different from that of the Ghanaian. We were created in the image of God, equal, because we read the same Bible. The Christian in UK, the Christian in Denmark, the Christian in France, the Christian in the United States of America, they don't have a different Bible. They read the NIV, we read the NIV, they read the Amplified Version, we read the Amplified Version, they read everything, we read the same thing. Now, watch this, 60% in here. Those of you on TV, those of you on radio, I will just break it down for you. More TV and those of you on Facebook. This is the calculation of the world, but there is a manipulation. This is the total calculation, but this has been manipulated. It was well calculated by God. But the Africans sat aloof, decided to do nothing, and this was manipulated. So, we are seeing we are seeing Chichemu Oha Edresia, Africa, Bibini, Ghana, and Yamijina, Hey Media, and a 40% way, a minor Akano Edia. Nanso, Yenya Yawasa, se Papa Cassiano, a common day, Yenia Mu, Yenia Bro, 40% in the Ukraine war. Ghana free ha na asase kakrakay. One said 60% there you go. That is why I told you it's an arable land. Yet Ghana ha no be to that and say would you apple Ghana enye. This morning I want to sound a simple warning that if we will continue like this in the next 10 years, I am telling you, there will be serious insecurity. There will be killings all over Africa. Right today's date down. Now watch this. Watch this. Africa holds 30% of the world's mineral reserve. But this has been reviewed. Where? A badum mineral reserve, uranium, platinum, gold, diamond, bauxite, any idea. Now we hold 49%, almost half of every natural resource. In Africa, over bauxite, 89%. The whole world, over bauxite, 89% of Africa. In 2089, 300 man patwaka saying. Diamond is 43%, gold is 40%. Ghana and Kwan sa gold 40% or in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, Ghana and Kwan enya sa 80% of the 40%. What is wrong with us? Platinum and chromium, we had 95%. Uranium and cobalt, 95%. Sa niyama mienu ya wasuro in platinum and chromium, and the uranium and cobalt. And no America say these are the only two. Some minerals way and no the artificial intelligence haba, and no the computer haba, and no the TV sets, and the cameras, mobile phone, and then you see iron rods, everything, energy, electricity, name them. And no the say 95% can be found here in Africa. Natural gas. When we talk about natural gas, natural is natural. 8%. Arable lands, 65%. Renewable fresh water, 30%. Manganese, 42%. Human resource, 100%. Human resource from between the ages of 17 and 50. You can't find it as strong and many. Quality and quantity. In any continent apart from Africa. But listen to me. We're here, no jobs. Oil is 9.9 million barrels a day in Nigeria. Please bring it back. I'm sorry. Thank you. Africa, a pompe 9 point. Where Nigeria? Every day, Nigeria produce 18% of the oil production in this world. Nigeria. Can we asibu oil yina boma Nigeria nkwa man attention here with 2 aeroplane free Ghana going to Nigeria. It will take you just 45 minutes or less to get to Nigeria. One kwa which we asibu ina 100 Nigeria nkwa produce 18%. Sa adie bi na wa betra hono so oil president Tinubu no oba is to say Nigeria is producing 29% of the total oil production in this world. But why is the Nigerian poor? Move on. We're going to school this morning. In 2017, World Market Survey revealed that $199.99 million entered Africa. Tieniyo, sikebera Africa mun na endru. In the form of investments, investors coming in was just $200 million. But when they were going back, they left with $984 billion. How can somebody just bring a miserable $200 million into your fold, and then when leaving, he goes away with almost closer to $1 trillion? This is $1 trillion. And then we sit here, and the African leader will be making useless noise. Oh, I went to Germany, I went to France, I went to Paris, I went to the United States, I went to Australia, and we brought investors. They are coming in to invest $50 million. This is a shame. This is a shame. How can someone bring 199 and go away with 984? Are we not fools? What is wrong with the African leader? Move on, move on. You see, now let me scale it down to Ghana. I just want you to understand something. And you see, in development, anytime you want to develop, you must understand that you can't develop without people. No nation developed in the vacuum. You develop with people. If the citizens in your country cannot access water, you are not developed. Quality education, you are not developed. Quality roads, you are not developed. Quality healthcare, you are not developed. Security, you are not developed. Defense, you are not developed. Food to eat, worst of it all, you are not. Now, come down. Ghana's first gold mining companies were formed shortly after the British established the Gold Coast colony in 1874. And following two successive gold rushes in the early 1900s, gold prospecting and extraction were widespread in Obuasi, Takwa, and Prestia. Let's move on. In 1874, they started saying two gold. Ghana, how? That time now, I mean, the boyfriend, your friend say. The Ashanti Goldfields Corporation is a gold mining company based in Ghana that was founded by Joseph Ellis and Joseph Biney, both from Cape Coast. Let nobody sit anywhere and lie to you that the Ashanti Goldfields Corporation was set up by the British. It's a lie. We have taken our time to research into the history of mining of gold in this country. It's taken us days and months to come up with this for you. Joseph Ellis, and please come back. Thank you. Joseph Ellis and Biney. When we have Cape Coast, the Ashanti mine located at Obuasi, 56 kilometers south of Kumasi, has been producing since 1897. It's Obuasi gold na year 2 ohodo since 1897. Now we must start to say year 2 gold in commercial quantities. Year 2 edeko. Young quantum. Move on. It's some of these tunnels or holes, they've been there for hundreds of years, centuries. And yet, those things were not done today. In 1994, the Ghana government, the majority shareholder, announced plans to sell 20-25% of its interest in AGC, Ashanti Gold Corporation, in a share flotation. The company was listed on the London and Ghana stock exchanges. It was the largest flotation ever organized by any gold mining company. Coordinating an advisory team alone numbered over 200 people. Each of the company's 10,000 employees received 5 free shares. 10 years. 1994. Nya Rollins ano yeso janina na tia kunyaso. O see AGC. Quickly, yenye den, yemma modern na fe floating shares. Iti AGC e floating shares no e wo Ghana ene ankrofo amanso no na oman bi ani asase so a wa floating shares a ankrofo atod more chen Ghana de da Ghana de na lead still a record no obi antimi break here eti enam so ama 1994 na ankrofo ye adwuma Obuasi gold mines a wo fi Obuasi ene ne mpotam ina no deeper 10,000 no aban ne se mama shares num for free jeko ya twa ma buso Rollins or yeso jani yes ankrofo se ya twa ba ma wonom. We are democratically elected. Look at the nonsense. Political idiots. Move on. Yanko. In 1996, AGC was listed on the New York Stock Exchange to raise new capital. It was the first African company. Listen to this. It was the first African company to appear on Wall Street. Maybe you don't know. AGC was the first ever African company to appear on the Wall Street. In 1999, the company succumbed to an ill-executed gold price hedge led by Goldman Sachs, which drove it to the brink of bankruptcy. Yet it was a Brunibi, it was a Goldman Sachs, was in Norway. How can an African company? SSS Kadina, Yadeko Ghana. Meanwhile, all those monies are from the stock exchange. It couldn't do or even build just a 10-meter road for us here in this country. The man said that no way, we're not going to allow that. We ain't going to allow it. At the end of the day, Obuasi Goldfield drove to bankruptcy. Now, look at the mining companies here in Ghana. Ghana mining companies list. Adamos Resource Limited, Anglo Gold Ashanti Limited, Ghana Manganese Company Limited, Pesos Mining Limited, Newmont Ghana Limited. Call. Yanko. Yes, Yanko. No. Mercado no. So, Gold Star Resources, Strata Africa Mining and Exploration, AMS Gold Line Mining Ghana Limited, Adfat Company, Gold Star, and then Gold Mines Company. KHL Gold Dust and Bass Mining, Golden Star Bogoso, Mac Mining and Construction, Piero Wewomufi Italy, and Abaye Engineering and Mining Services. Kenoli Gold Mining Company, Mantech Mining Company, Chirano Mining Company Limited, Kenoli Gold Mining Company, Mantech Mining Services, and then Chirano again there. Yanko. Afei Onua Ghana Goldfields Limited, Sankofa Minerals, Jonas Gold Mining Corporation, Asanko Gold Star Africa Commodities and Minerals, and then Tebrebe, yeah, and Yababeshahono Goldfields. Havila Capital Ventures, Wako Engineering Services, Diamond Marketing Corporation, Jasmo, Zoom Lion, yay, Wajai, AA Minerals. Ghana for companies 2 pen abem. More than 40 companies say 2 gold or Ghana Hainano, 2 penny 2. I am not in support of Galamsey. But if this is the trend, let's allow the Ghanaian to mine. I don't support Galamsey. It would take the matured brain to understand what I'm saying. I don't support Galamsey. But if this is the trend, the Ghanaian must be allowed to mine. Because entimi masabe ma me aduan anu aduane wo fie. Wa bre komede me. Na amanfo na di mirika be fum aduane wo ma me mu kase. Wa bre komede me ya mete ho a me isu. How? It doesn't make sense anywhere in this world. Something is wrong with the African leader. And it is about time we skew and spill everything out and tell the African leader right in their faces that you guys are political idiots. Sit down and begin to think. AGC started underground mining in 1907. Land Home purchased AGC in 1969. And the Ghanaian government reduced its shareholding in 1994, leaving Leno now loanmen with a 33% stake and corporate plus private investors holding the remainder. AGC, buying cotton, 1969, by 1990, I say, Maton. Obia wa floaty shares, wait me and Yesikam, what Chebiama workers, Ghana buying Tibon Koso. So my tongue, mempe. Koedim. AGC reduced staffing at Obuasi approximately 10,000 in 1996 to less than 6,600. Because don't forget, some medical catcher say Abrante be a friend Goldman, and who said Ghana, woman you come for Ebenya Juma ye Sikababa Ghana for bottom, no started say or Tete. 1996, Rollins said to us, I heat ban team. Or see me reduce it from 10,000 to less than 6,600 in 2003. 2003, Neje Kufona Wabem, and she said to from and invested in underground development and plant. The mine is 100%. Still, Obuasi Gold no 100%. Mobian can't just see 2 years. Owned by Anglo Gold Ashanti, which was formed after AGC merged with Anglo Gold in April 2004. Move on. Afia Hana Ehuno. From 1994, ABC 2017. Now, a year Juma or AGC, Lusu or Jumano, a 58,000 plus. Don't forget, say every year, Biano, ye yin Crofredi, a AGC. This year, by November, yin Crofredi. They're going to sack people. And then, come back. Ghana is the leading African gold producer. I want you to get this straight. Do not forget this. All right, let's move on. Quickly. A ton of gold is worth just over $46 million. In July 2019. 2019, net gold 1 ton $46.5 million. I'm only using 2019. Move on. Let's move on. Really quick. Please. Let's move on. And in 2011, Ghana produced 87.6 metric tons. So multiply that by 46 million. And that will give you 4,029,600,000 US dollars. In 2011 alone, Ghana had over $4 billion from gold production. Move on. 2012, we produced 98.6 metric tons. And that gave us $4,535,600,000. Move on. 2013. We produced 94 about from kakra metric tons. We had same range, 4 billion parts, 4.3 billion. Move on. 2014. 2014, Ghana produced 137.1 metric tons. And we had $6 billion from gold alone. 6.3 billion US dollars in 2014 alone. 2015, let's move on. Quickly. 2015, we produced 130.4 metric tons. That gave us 5.9 billion US dollars. 2016, we produced 129 metric tons. And that gave us, again, $5.9 billion. Move on. 2017. If you have Corona 701. William DNT, I don't want to dwell too much on J. Kufuor, too much on John Dramani Mahama, too much on Professor Mills, too much on J.J. Rawlings, because these guys, the kind of belief we had in Nanado, not even an iota of that was reposed in them. Nanado made us believe that he was going to create a new heaven here in Ghana. Now watch this. 2017 alone, this government had $5.9 billion in gold alone. Meanwhile, we're walloping and wallowing in poverty, and we're searching for a miserable $3 billion from the IMF. Gold, 2017, 5 billion plus. Now, in 2018, we have 6.8 billion because we're able to produce 149.1 metric tons. Move on. Yanko. 2019, Ghana had 6.6 billion US dollars from gold production alone. Let's move on to 2020. 2020, we had $7.20 billion from gold production alone. Move on. So this is the total tabulation of all the revenues that we've accrued from gold production here in this country right up to 2020. And so up to 2020, Ghana had received from just 2011 to 2020, just 9 years, Ghana had 57,678,120,000. What kind of people are we? Please, what kind of people are we? What kind of leaders do we have in this country? And you sit somewhere, you do not want me to talk? This has been the total. Move on. Yanko. Afei, yenya ye tu sa gold no. United Kingdom, woman two gold. The woman two. This is their gold reserve. Abuse again. And you know, where the woman is on ton, Yashisha is on ton, UK gold reserve in ye tua, near Sasani de co. Ye tua, near Sasani de co. After ye Tigana has said, Yenya, ye two gold, no, ye san two oil, no. I buy where wa bonwa me, hey, Akufado. Na wukura tia ya wosora wodi aduane ben. No, you see, a toda wo ho esese ye real kakra. Esese na dura so dan bia mu aye pam no. And see, this is the gold reserve. Owie your catch so one or the Japan ba. Number 2, a gold for oil. Me 2 gold no me krom ha me 2 oil. But me sanse me gold asan de akwaje petrol ni diesel e de aba. Move on. Wo de yen show ni chamcham ne yenko. Germany for reserve de Germany for gold reserve de. Economy ni break it down say bam. They have a reserve to take care of them. Yen ye 2 gold. Your reserve wa